This is the Jeff Jerina Show.
Hey, what's going on? It's Jeff here, and welcome back to the show. And on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about something that can make all the difference. Whether you're leading a team, building a business, or maybe you're just someone who wants to leave a legacy, especially now if you're a Christian. And what I'm talking about here is faith-driven leadership. Now, before we jump into the podcast, I want to give you a quick heads up that if you've ever thought about starting a podcast, or maybe you've already have one, but you're just not sure what to do next, whether you run a solo podcast or it's an interview style, or maybe it's a hybrid. I've been coaching people through this for years, and I put together a page to make it simple for you to get help. Now, to get that help, you can check that out on my website at jeffjerina.com/podcast-coaching. Now, on that page, you can book a 15-minute podcast clarity call with me. It's free for you. Now, if you're ready to dive in, there's even an option to apply for a private coaching session with me. And if you're still thinking, or you just, you need a quick win, you can grab my free podcast launch kit right there on that page. So whatever stage you're at, maybe that's starting out, maybe you're stuck, or you're trying to scale your podcast, that page is your place to get going. And hey, if you're brand new to my work, or maybe this is your first time listening to the podcast and you're just not sure where to start, head over to the Start Here page on my website at jeffjerina.com/start-here. That page is going to help you take the next best step, whether that's podcast coaching, or maybe evangelism training for you, or maybe your group. Maybe that's business coaching. Or maybe you just want to get some extra resources that we have on the site, like my books, my courses, and some other really cool free tools. Or maybe you just want to reach out to me to speak at your organization or event. That page is going to help you get going. All right, so with all that said, let's jump into the podcast. Okay, so here's the deal. Leadership, entrepreneurship, influence, coaching, teaching, none of that stuff starts with strategies or systems, or even a big team. It starts with faith, right? If you're a faith-driven individual, if you're a Christ follower, all that stuff should start with faith. Now, I'm not talking about here just believing in yourself. Now, that's important, trust me. I'm talking about putting God first in your vision, your goals, and your day-to-day decisions. So think about this verse. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Now, that verse right there, that's not a suggestion, right? That's a strategy. I would say a winning strategy. So if we follow God's lead first, it seems like everything else is going to line up, right? Now, it may not line up like we want, or in the timing that we want, or as quick as we want. I know about that. But if we're in alignment with God and we are doing this based on faith, through faith, then it's going to line up a lot better than what we actually have imagined. Now, it may not seem like that at first, right? But in the end, it will be. And I'm talking here about your goals and your decisions and your leadership, all that stuff. And you may have seen this, because I've seen this a lot. People, we just seem to grind a lot, chase success. A lot of people work 50, 60, 70 hours a week, maybe even more than that. And so they're building these businesses, they're leading these teams, but something just doesn't seem right. It just feels off, right? Now, I think that's because the foundation isn't anchored in the kingdom, God's kingdom. But I think here that faith-driven leadership changes that. And I think it changes that because it changes how you respond to challenges, and how you make decisions, and how you influence the people around you, or should influence the people around you. Let me make that correction there. So with that in mind here, I want to give you 3 principles that I think that every faith-driven leader or entrepreneur needs. Now, there's a lot more than this, but I just want to give you 3 of them here in this podcast episode. Now, I'm just going to mention them real quick, and then I'm just going to give you a quick commentary on each one, okay? So the first one is vision without God is directionless, okay? The second one is integrity. We have to have integrity over immediate gain. And the third one here, as a faith-driven leader or an entrepreneur that you need, is you need to invest in people, not just results. Okay, so As I mentioned those three here, do any of those resonate with you? Okay, so let's talk about the first one here. Vision without God is directionless. Now, as a leader, you can have goals, you can have metrics, you can have KPIs, you can have all these numbers, you can have all these plans that you're thinking about all day, right? Not just today, but every quarter, every year, all these different things. But if you're not seeking God first, those goals, those numbers may lead you off course. And so I just want to encourage you here, if you can right now, if you're a leader in any capacity, to go to the Lord in prayer right now and ask Him, what is this season right now, this next season, or maybe this season you're in right now, what does it look like? What should it look like according to Him? And I think that when you do that, your strategy then becomes aligned with your purpose, right? Your God-given purpose, not just your ambition. Okay, so the second one here that I want to talk about is integrity. We have to have integrity over immediate gain. Now, here's the hard truth, and I'm sure you already know this, is that short-term wins, those are tempting, right? Those make us feel better in the moment. And those easy decisions, they feel good, right? But faith-driven leadership, it means doing the right thing even when no one's looking. Even when it slows your growth. Even when it costs you something. That cost could be big, right? You could lose a client. You could lose a sale. But we have to have that integrity. We have to be running our teams, our businesses with that integrity first in mind over the immediate gain. And I know it's tough. Trust me, I know it's hard because it's so easy to go the other way. And so the third thing here is that we have to invest in people, not just results. So think about this. Your influence multiplies through people. Now that could be healthy and good influence, or it could be bad influence, right? And I'm talking about here the teams that you lead, the business that you build, or the business that you're building right now, or that you want to build, the people that you coach. None of that stuff thrives without relationships. So think about mentorship, encouragement, accountability. All these things are the hallmarks of leaders that God uses to make lasting impact. Now, as you're thinking about those three principles there, and you're probably thinking of some other ones as well, I just want to start rounding out this podcast episode here and just kind of give you some other quick things to think about. So here's the thing. Faith without action is just hope, right? But action without faith can burn you out. And I would add rather quickly. But faith plus action, now that creates real momentum. And I would add to that lasting momentum here. So here's what I want you to do. Just right now, or maybe sometime today or tomorrow, take a bold faith-aligned step today. Start that podcast. Reach out to maybe a mentor. Reach out to someone that you think you need a mentor. Step into that leadership role that you've been putting off. Do one thing today that matters for the kingdom of God. And hey, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, like I mentioned earlier, don't guess. Go to jeffjerina.com/podcast-coaching. And again, I've been helping people do this for years, whether they're just starting or maybe they've been running a podcast for a while, but they're not sure what to do next. Or maybe you're somewhere in between. When you're on that page, you can book a 15-minute free podcast clarity call with me to get some clarity and direction. Or maybe if you're ready to take the next step, you're just ready to jump in right now, you can apply for private coaching with me. And maybe you just want a quick win today. I have a free podcast launch kit on that page that you can grab right now. And again, if you're not sure where to start with me in general, just go to the Start Here page on my website at jeffjerina.com/start-here. All right, so as we wrap up this podcast here, I want to give you your final takeaway. Lead with faith, not just ambition. And let God guide your vision. And keep integrity at the center of all your decisions. And invest in people along the way. And I think that when you do that consistently, day after day, month after month, year after year, knowing that, hey, we're not going to get it right every single moment. But when you try to do that consistently, I think that your impact isn't going to just be measured in numbers or titles. It's going to be something far greater than that. It's not going to be temporary. It's going to be eternal. And I hope here as I close down this podcast that I gave you something to apply today in your life. And if you like this or you feel like somebody else could use it, please share it with a friend. And please subscribe and rate this on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the next podcast episode. God bless.